Hello, how are you? If you're good, great. I'm happy. If not, I'm glad you're here. I've always felt that art is one of those things that is really a difficult concept to define. Everybody's kind of an artist in their own way. And there's a phrase that says, artists create because they must. I can relate to that. I get it. In a lot of ways, I consider myself a bit of an artist. I do create things, nothing that I'll necessarily talk about specifically here, but I create, and I think you do too, whether you draw or write poetry or sing in the shower. We all kind of create art in our own kind of ways. And I've always felt it really interesting how other people have tried to profit from art throughout the ages, throughout history. In the Greco-Roman days, artists were hired to create sculptures and paintings in the Sistine Chapel and stuff like that. So, it was all made to profit. Now, maybe back then it was more for kings and rulers and others to show their wealth, that they could hire these artists to create for them. And in the modern times now, we have record companies and movie production companies and publishers, and all they do is make money off of other people's art, hoping that you'll buy it. How weird, right? We create because we must, yet somebody takes those creations and puts a price on them and then sells them back to us. Weird, right? I imagine that you have favorite music artists, you have favorite movies that you like to watch, probably favorite books that you like to read. Imagine that you're a singer and deep in your soul, you've created this song and it's very personal to you. Maybe even painful, probably painful. So much art derives from pain. Let's take an example. Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. Now, Nine Inch Nails happens to be one of my favorite groups of all time. I've seen them in concert a couple times, and I am aware of some of Trent's personal pain that he's gone through over the decades. There's a particular song called Hurt that he wrote when he was very deep in heroin abuse, and he created this song, and it was adopted by everyone as a opus to pain and to suffering and to rebirth, maybe. Now, because it's popular, Trent performs this song at every concert on every tour he's ever done. I remember many years ago, probably 25 years ago, because it's a slow, quiet song. I don't know if you're familiar with it. You're probably more familiar with the Johnny Cash remake of it, but it was originally his song. When he would perform it in concert, it's very quiet. It's just him on a piano. And sometimes the audience would start to cheer or call out or sing along. And there are very famous situations where he would stop singing the song. Sometimes he would scold the audience. I don't know if he ever stopped a concert because of it, but it has happened a couple times where he just stopped that song because maybe the audience was being disrespectful in his opinion, or maybe it was too painful for him. But can you imagine, you write this song and it is about your pain, and now you are forced to perform that song every time you have a concert. You have to relive everything that was there when you wrote it and when you composed it. I mean, I guess that's something, because you've reached so many people with your art that they demand it, that they want to have you experience that again so that they can experience maybe that song helped them through particularly tough point in their life. But how weird, right? You have to do it. You have to continually feel that pain over and over again because the people that adopted it, or maybe the people you wrote it for, or I don't know. Do we make art for us or do we make art for you? I'd like to think that anything that I do might somehow affect one person or a lot of people. Maybe that's the definition of art, is to invoke a response from someone else, an emotional attachment. That could be positive, could be negative, but that's the point, right? That's why we create. A lot of people make content and art because they hope it is going to somehow bring them money. There's a whole generation of creators that are coming out of school who believe that content creation is a career path. Now, you can argue that content creation is art or it's not. That's not different than other people who look at music or movies as a career path. They're in it to make a living out of it. And unfortunately, so many people fail at that because they either don't have the talent or the connections or the stamina to continue trying. Art is hard. The movie industry is hard. The music industry is hard. I mean, people like Rebecca Black, as much as people made fun of her for that silly song Friday and that video, she had a dream. Her parents or her family supported that dream, and she made herself a little album. Hopefully she's proud of that, even if it's terrible, even if critics think it was dumb, even if people made fun of her for that. Heck, I've been known to make fun of her too. I'm in it for the memes. Maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong, but I'm never going to be anything but honest about how I feel about things. I'll take responsibility for them. I imagine it was wrong, and it's still wrong to make fun of her for that. Everybody's trying to make it out here. If you're an artist and you've been going to open nights, maybe you're trying to do stand-up, or maybe you are trying to make beats on your iPad and you're just trying to make it. That's cool. I think you should. I think you should not give up. I think that you should continue making your art until it doesn't bring you the emotions that you started making it in the first place for. If you draw, and geez, do I respect you if you can draw, because I can't. If you play the piano, and I can't do that either, you have my greatest respect. Even if you do it poorly, but you keep doing it, respect. It's just so weird that we take something so innocent and pure as our own personal art, our own personal creation, and many of us, the goal is to somehow monetize that. And there is always going to be somebody waiting to take advantage of that. But we create because we must. We're artists. I'll see you tomorrow.